Hi, Robin with Oxy-Dry, and here I am in my garage. And today, I just posted a video where I spoke about my regular machine, which had an issue. So I pulled out my backup machine to put in the van and to use. And I did that yesterday. And today I thought, I better make sure, I better put some solution in the tank. And I never did that yesterday. I just put it in the van. Anyway, I put solution in the tank and had it sitting on the driveway for a few minutes and discovered that, it's piddling all over the place. There's a problem. So, unfortunately, as it turns out, this is not an unusual thing to happen with these type of tanks, but because it wraps around the handle here, and there's stress on the plastic over time, it's not unusual for them to develop a split. And I've had that happen before, and so we have a crack in the tank, and it's actually obviously been there a while. I never noticed it. And so I do have this machine which I can use, but this has the smallest tank of all. This is a 3-gallon tank technically, although 2 would be the maximum gallons I could put into it. This actually is the tank that the machine originally came with. My first machine came with that tank. It's a really nice little tank, but it's only 2 gallons. And usually that's fine for most houses. I normally don't use more than 2 gallons anyway, but the tank I'd been using on this machine over here, which is the machine I've been using the last few years, this is actually a 4-gallon tank. But the maximum I ever put in there is 3. But I'm having issues with the handle releasing when I don't want it to. Anyway, so I did have this other tank I'd used on a previous machine, and there's no split in it, so I was going to put it in place. But I'm not quite sure whether or not I'm going to be mounting the light. Now, I'm not going to put it the way it was. If you saw the previous video, you see that I had this box sitting right here, which made the tank sit up kind of high. So I'm not going to do that. I'm going to mount the tank lower. And now you see that I put this, I'll show you what that is. Yoga mat. Great thing to have around. So, and I remember repairing a machine before where it had a split. I just stuck some of this in, and it worked until I replaced the tank. Anyway, so I'm just going to stick that in place. Not that I have a leak on this tank, at least hasn't split here. So, but I'm going to put that on there anyway, just because it'll give it a bit of cushioning. And if you're wondering what all these little marks are here, I had things attached in the past, and that's just welds. Plastic welds. So I was going to put the tank in place. And let's, of course, the bracket goes like this. And what you want to do is have try it again. Ideally, you want to have that on that side and another one on the other side. Now, the thing about putting the yoga mat rubbery stuff there is it'll help the tank to not move around, because what you tend to do, oh shoot, I just made a mistake. Can you see my mistake? That's not going to work properly, is it? Hang on a minute. What I actually need to do is put a you know what I'm not going to do? I'm not going to put the bracket on that side because it's not going to do much good anyway. But when you put the yoga mat there, that'll give it some grip, I guess you could say, and it will be hold the tank in place better without having to tighten these nuts up too much, because that's part of what happens is that you tend, the tank starts to shift around. What if it actually shifted? As it wiggles around, then you go to tighten it up, and you tighten it up so much that you put so much pressure on the where it's wrapped around the handle there, then that actually makes it want to split. So I gotta back this off again because the yoga mat shifted a little bit. The rubbery thing there. Nope. Let's try that again. So we want to have it pretty much centered if possible, obviously. Okay, we'll try that. Need to get that out of here. And we're going to drop it probably, well, about as low as I can go, ideally. And then the bracket goes in. The nice thing about this setup is it is so simple. There's nothing much to the tank and the shower feed system. It's just a very simple valve in the tank there, and they're replaceable because they do eventually, they can wear out. And then I've got another, not that one, here we are. Another bracket for the bottom. The other one you see sitting down here, what I'll do is I'll put that below the bracket and then tighten it up, and it'll keep the whole thing from shifting down over time, because that can happen. That is the so that one, in case you're wondering. Okay, now that comes through. Yep, we're looking okay. And that one will go on there. A couple of nuts. Oops. But basically, that's you see. Then when I gotta get rid of that. A moment. When I have the tank exactly where I want height-wise, then I'll tighten up this other clamp at the bottom here, and that'll make sure it doesn't move up and down, or move down, because over time it could do that. That's the purpose of that bracket. Okay, so at the moment, my intention is to remove that box, which means I will lose my light, which I don't like, but I do know that having the tank down as low as possible is what you want, because the lower the center of gravity, the better balance the machine will have, and the easier it is to handle. And this is an old, I mentioned before, this was like about 10 years ago I came up with that design, before we had some of these more compact lights, and I'm not wanting to switch. I'm not going to switch the light off of that one or the Vibe. If I have to, I'll go buy another one of those lights and mount it on here. But for the moment, I got a couple of ideas. We'll see what happens. Anyway, I will continue on and hopefully get this thing up and running. If not, then I can just switch over to this machine. It's all ready to go. It doesn't leak. The tank is fine. But as I say, it holds a little bit less solution, so I was hoping to use this machine. Anyway, I'll let you go. So thank you for watching and have a good day.